All right, welcome folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. This is going to be your Monday sit rep for January 24th, 2022. It is high noon coming to you from the great state of Texas. All right, so without further ado, let's hop on over to the board real fast. Let's take a look. We're going to start off in SkyGlass this morning, or this afternoon, sorry. This is kind of an epic look. I don't know what's going on, but we have got, if you look at all the pinks, remember those are masked flights. Those are people that don't want to be seen. And look at it. It's a sea of pink. I've never, I was actually commenting, SkyGlass and I were talking back and forth just a little while ago at the amount of pink that is up today. So we've got a lot of folks making moves that don't want to be seen right now for some crazy reason. But I don't think I've ever in recent history seen this amount of NAs and blocked aircraft up at one point across the United States. That is a lot, folks. It's crazy to see that. So let's look a little closer. We're going to take a dive here and see what else we've got up that kind of catch our eye on SkyGlass. If you don't have this app, by the way, and you want it, just go out there and to Google, hit SkyGlass flight tracker. It'll pull it right up. It's some nominal fee. It's not much at all to actually get access to it. You'll download it, and then it is off to the races. It's like I said, I've always said it. This is going to be a game changer as this thing evolves. This is just the baseline content. It's only going to get better, and so really cool to be in on the ground level. It's all crowdsourced, just so you guys know. And this is not a paid advertisement. I just wanted to tell you that. I'm excited about it, and it's like I said, really cool. So, all right, we got DC-10s, KC-135s up right now, sitting at about 10 of those. Not overabundant number, but I bet if we threw some 6.7s in there, sorry, I did miss those, 3 of those. So 13 air refuelers up. That's not a lot, really, but you can see East Coast, as always, looks like we've got quite a bit of fighter activity and stuff up here. These guys are the ones, definitely fighter stuff, not moving junk, because they're up there just doing the routes. Stuff coming out of MacDill, then a couple things out here over central Texas, and then headed over to Phoenix. Not much to speak of, really, when it comes down to it. So let me back up on these. And let's get into the cargo stuff. And now we've got the C-130s. Let's get into our C-17s. 8 of those, 6 of those, 7 more of those. Still pretty light day in terms of cargo. Again, most of the clutter up there is going to be those NAs. So you can see that is really not too much to speak of. Really southeast concentration in terms of stuff getting moved around right now. All right, so let me back up on this just a minute. We're going to come back in a little hot here. I do have a favorite I want to put on. I want to show you. We do have a couple of interesting things. We've got some drones up. So let me get over to my favorites list. Let me pull this one up. And then let me minimize my other list here so it's out of the way. But this dude right here, as we kind of zoom in, let me see if it'll just give me, there is our bird right there. So those not seeing it, let me bump over here to our other map, get a little better view. And you guys can see this is a Q4 drone that's up right now over just kind of off of Jacksonville. This is Jacksonville, Florida right here. Like he did a little box and then out over this open water. That's at 48,000 feet. Got a lot of hang time. That thing will probably be up for the entire day. That would indicate they're definitely looking at stuff out here in this general area. Now, one of the things I will point out too, let me back up just a touch. We do have a lot of, or we had a lot of sub hunters off of this side right here, East Coast wise. A lot of P8s earlier today too. If you get over here to our TFRs, kind of paint the picture, could be why we have this Q4 activity going on, but there is a space operations. So they're about to launch something out of Jacksonville area. And that could be why we have this looking out over the water here. But you also have this longboat TFR space ops here and then out here. So could be related. Could be why we had the P8 activity off this general area as well as this Q4 stuff. And this also is another space operations. You can see off the coast of just south of Delaware there. So brown zone always there. These are storm warnings. Other than that, not too much TFR-wise, so it doesn't look like Flashbang's going anywhere. He was at Camp David all weekend, and as I get into the data here, you'll see why he was there, okay? All right, let's get over here to this. Now, this is Flashbang Schedule. You're going to notice is regular rhetoric here as we run out of the morning, daily briefs, etc. But then at 3 o'clock, he's getting into this whole Ukraine thing. Now, keep in mind, one of the things that we don't want to lose sight of is the fact that there was a lot of hush money that went to Ukraine from our White House at the beginning of the year. Just as he got into office, all of a sudden we started pumping in 80 million here, 120 million there, you know, sending them products, you know, military stuff like missile launchers for air defense and all kinds of different things. So there was a lot of money and a lot of effort going to them. We know why. Don't lose sight of the laptop. Don't lose sight that there were a lot of shenanigans going on before he got into office. And so they definitely own the White House, all right? And so if he's making any moves whatsoever, it's because they hold the purse strings, okay? So which is not a good thing, folks. But as we get over here, just to show you, just kind of get a feel, lay of the land here. This is Ukraine. This is the area it's about to go hot. Russia on this side. This is the border that runs through here. Black Sea, you're going to see a lot of activity related to air recon in this general area. And then all the way up into here, Putin has basically got them surrounded, okay? We know he's already got troops in Belarus, but you're going to see a lot of activity running all the way from Poland, all the way down, I mean, into the Black Sea. So this is just kind of give you a lay of the land, okay? Get over here to the flight tracker. This is a Q4 drone, again, or RQ4A Global Hawk is, I guess, what they call it. This one's being tracked currently by flight trackers. About 4,500 people watching this flight right now, for almost 5,000. You can see up here, tracking is #1 trending, being tracked worldwide. So again, Black Sea, this is all over the Ukraine side. And you can see this Q4's got a lot of hang time up. So we've got U.S. surveillance in the area. And then we'll get into the other ones as well here as I kind of peel the onion, okay? Now, this is over off of Forward Observer. This is a go-to and a half. Now, I have not watched or followed this group yet, and I'm like really excited about this. If you don't have this and you want to sign up to it, I think it's about $10 a month or something. Well worth it. These guys are dialed in for daily intelligence briefings. It's really good. When somebody sent this to me, I had heard of it but never really tracked it. But it's very military centric in terms of their the way they operate, the way they provide their information. I really like it a lot. It's almost like an intelligence brief. And so anyway, it looks like we are actually starting to evacuate folks out of Kiev. We're going to get a closer look. I've been watching that particular airport. Haven't seen any flights that would indicate it unless they're putting them on commercial flights and flying them out, which could be the case because the airport still seems to be pretty active right now with flights in and out. So, but this is over here off of, again, Forward Observer. This is their little briefing that came out today. But they are fully on. I mean, U.S.-wise, we're planning for an invasion. I think we see this coming pretty quickly and unavoidable. So, again, they're starting to evacuate U.S. people out of there. Also wanted to point out that the Russian Navy is now starting some drills over in the Baltic Sea. It's looked like they've got 20 Russian Navy vessels out in that general area. So they are on the move and probably pre-positioning some assets for support operations as they get into this, okay? So, all right, let's start looking at some of the aircraft and some of the intel that's being gathered right now over in the general area. Now, this was on Wednesday last week, but I just wanted to show you this is a NATO bird that's got repositioned in this general area. That's a new asset. Now, we've been watching the NATO 06, which is a Sentry, E3 Sentry, doing a lot of recon out over this general area, which would indicate that if if we're right, could indicate we got some subs in the general area that are tied in with the NATO piece. So it really does look like Europe and the U.S. and everybody are starting to pre-position assets for this thing to go hot here pretty quickly. So, but again, this is another Sentry, E3 Sentry that's in this general area, pre-positioned, probably to support this area if NATO engages. Okay. All right, so that's NATO. Now, this is Brio 68. You guys may remember this is a U.S. intelligence aircraft. Just operated. This was today, just a couple hours ago. And as you can see, this is the Black Sea, Ukraine right up here. So they are running routes. It looks like gathering intel, held a pretty good solid altitude. Airspeed's the only thing that deviated around these turns. But so it looks like they are getting some fresh eyes on the area. That's U.S. Now this is French. This is a C-135, 2 hours, 20 minutes ago. And let me back up just a little bit so you can kind of get a lay of that. This is a Black Sea over here. It looks like the French were actually kind of repositioning their stuff here. On the other side of Italy, I would imagine they'll probably be fully engaged here as well shortly. That looks like some just touch and goes, okay? But let me back up to Friday. Yeah, nothing really new there. Okay, good, good, good. All right, let's go over to Jake 11. This is not Jake from State Farm. This is going to be a little different. 7 hours, 28 minutes ago, this is an R-135. Also rolling out, this is a UK effort. Again, they're looking over Poland, which I find interesting. This is Belarus here. This is Ukraine here. And they seem to be running routes up in this area. Now, we do know there's a big immigration push, but it looks like Russia has basically put some assets in play over there as well. And so for some reason, we've got eyes on, I think this whole area is about to go hot as soon as this happens. So pretty interesting. All right. Now, this is going to be the UK. These are actually UK transportation assets. I'm just pointing this out because this is, if you want to kind of have eyes on what's going on around the world with these guys. One thing I did find interesting was there are quite a few folks here in Charleston and here in Dyess. That's Texas. All right. So that's a UK bird. And then out of Charleston, that is a UK bird as well right here. Destination unknown. This one is headed from Bermuda. That's the one you're seeing on your screen right here. Over to Terceira Island. That's going to be one of our prison watch locations. Probably not prison related. They're probably going to stop for fuel there as they bounce back into the UK here. But that is current assets. Now these, I'm not 100% sure. Some of these aircraft are R-135s. This one may be. You won't really be able to tell till you actually get in on the flight itself. That one may be one of two things. It's either some assets being moved, or it's going to end up being an R-135. We've been watching the R-135 activity for a bit of time here where they're coming in and running routes in this area. So this, see, it looks to me like they're headed into this general area. All right. Like I said, going hot fast. All right. Now, these are going to be U.S. camber flights. These are U.S. troop movements. You're going to notice there is no destination. Just want to point out, since I've shown you the UK stuff, we did earlier today had 2 or 3 other flights on here, but they all seem to be kind of in this general area. So it looks like the U.S. is already pre-positioning assets. We kind of see that when we get over here to Biggs Army Airfield. As I've been showing you, these OAE flights, these Omni Airs, this one arrived in from Indianapolis, and we turned right around, went to Fort Worth Alliance. But this is today, okay, just so you guys have eyes on what's going on. There is an abundance of movement right now at Biggs Army Airfield. Now, I will tell you the other piece to this is that it is not troop movement, okay? There are a lot of poppies being moved right now, and I don't know why. I find this very interesting. Do we have another wave coming in silently, or are they now rolling them out and putting them in different locations? I do find it interesting they're going from base military operation to military operation in some cases, which that is, to me, probably not a good sign. Now, some of these you're going to notice. So this one comes in from Pope Army Airfield, two aircraft. This is a Sierra Pacific. This is National Cargo. Eastern Airlines coming in from another Army airfield. So you've got 3 of them coming from Army airfields. And then they depart and they head out. This one's going to Windsor Locks up in Connecticut. This one's headed into Orlando and then Fort Worth Alliance. Again, the Omnis are the only one on here that I believe are troop related. Everything else, I think, when you get into these, are not troops, okay? Which would be poppies, all right? Now, let's get kind of back in, peel the onion into the weekend, since this is our first time getting together. And you can see Saturday we had some arrivals coming in from Tucson. That's going to be your SPA 708. And then let me go over here to backup 1. Get over to departures. There we go. All right. And then let's see what happened over the weekend. So this is going to be your Saturday, Sunday stuff. So yeah, it looks like we had quite a bit movement with the SPA. These are Sierra Pacifics. Headed to Windsor Locks, Connecticut. So we had 2 flights headed up to Windsor and then 1 into Orlando. And then this is into today. So, all right. Continue to pay attention to that. I don't know exactly, not really sure exactly what's going on there. I will tell you there looks to be a lot of troop and poppy stuff. That's just kind of the mix right now. I don't think any of this stuff is tied to coconuts or anything along those lines, or bananas. I'll show you that stuff here in just a second, but this seems to be a big concentration. Now remember, we looked at what exactly they do over at Biggs Army Airfield. A lot of that stuff is tied to ARTIs, so artillery and air defense stuff, okay? So watching that stuff start to move and jockey, I do find very interesting. Again, these are all data points. Just take it all in. As we watch the news unfold, a lot of this stuff will start to make sense to us, okay? On top of that, from a crowdsource perspective, you know, a lot of you have eyes on stuff that I don't have eyes on, right? And so as you start to kind of connect the dots with your own knowledge and information, it may make more sense than it does, make sense to you more than it does to me. So, okay, let's get over here real fast. I do want to point out too, Pope, we just talked about Pope Army Airfield. Remember 5 days ago we had C-202, that's the Secretary of Homeland Security coming out. That's Pope Army Airfield right there, right? Fayetteville, North Carolina. So would indicate that that would be poppies going in and out of there because of this guy's presence, okay? So when we go back over here to this, to the arrival board, and we see these flights coming in from Pope, that's Fayetteville, North Carolina as well, okay? All right, so just, again, data point, pay close attention. Now, this is going to be your Swift Air, very light. I'll tell you, when I jumped into the board about 2 hours ago, there's only 2 flights on, which is very unusual. This place is usually hopping, crazy busy. Just kind of show you where they're headed. They all seem to be U.S. side today. These are not military installations, which would indicate to me that these are probably going to be immigrant related as they move them around, okay? Okay, now this is your World Airways. I just wanted to show you, we do have a regular flight that looks to be headed out of Laredo. That is definitely somebody being exfilled out of the U.S. Probably not a full flight, but these are Haitians being sent back to their home country. So just want to point that one out too. It continues on, doesn't, which would indicate that we are still getting stuff coming to the border, just nobody's reporting on it, okay? All right, now let's get rid of the NASA side. I just wanted to show you, we seem to have a lot of activity going on today with the NASA piece. Remember, we got a space operations. If we get back over here, here on the TFR, we've got this going on. Could be why NASA is out in this general area. Not really sure, but this is a couple aircraft, 3 of them. As you can see, this one looks to be doing that little loop for recon. So just kind of blend it all together and think about it. You've got a Q4 that we just looked out here doing some intelligence runs. P-8s off of this coast, probably all supporting space operations, if I had to guess. Over here to Starlink, just to show you, we got one coming in today. Actually looks like the object has already decayed, and looks like it hit just kind of north of Brazil. This is the decay line right here, this yellow line, that's a Starlink. So Starlinks look like they are, because they are low orbit, looks like they are going to be the ones to eventually come down and sprinkle our skies with debris. So it's a matter of time before you start seeing them hit over here. Hopefully these are controlled. They seem to be, but that right there, I don't know, it looks like it's over land. And then if you get into this next one in terms of what's going to drop next, get up here to our next to decay. That's the one we just looked at today. This is actually, I don't know, frigate something, but let me pull this up. As we load the page and see, that's also supposed to hit today, sometime today around 5:17 UTC time. And you can see that's the current location. So if you want to watch those and check them out, you can see actually the ones that are coming in over the next several days. It's a pretty cool little site called SatFlare, and they are basically pretty solid at kind of tracking stuff as it comes back into our atmosphere. So pretty cool. Okay, one more flight here after we get through this one. Just as an item of interest, this landed 3 hours, 8 minutes ago. Again, coming out of Greece, headed down into Africa. This one, I want to say it was landed in Rwanda, all right? The only reason I point this out is because this is a flight that is an agency bird. I do believe it's tied to CDC. And so just because it seems like every time I see this one go into Africa, we get some kind of news thing. So we continue to track it. This is anybody that wants to watch it themselves. N183 PA is going to be your tail number for that, okay? All right. Now, this is the Kiev airport, and so you can see it's pretty active and busy. Again, I'm watching this for countries to start exfilling their own people. Haven't seen that yet. So hopefully nobody gets trapped in there, but it has happened in the past. So see what happens, all right? Okay, back over to our main board, just to kind of give you a total number. Let this thing marinate for a second. You can see there is that little activity out here off the East Coast, tied probably to space ops. Aircraft up today, right now sitting at about 311, 313. Normal number's about 250, so it's not any higher than usual. I don't see anything on here other than this activity that's happening out off the East Coast that kind of catches my eye. Looks a little heavy here congestion-wise. These are trainers up into here, a lot of trainer activity. But other than that, it just looks to be kind of a normal day. Like I said, nothing here in the U.S. that's actually catching my eye. Again, that is going to be our hot spot. I don't know when it's going to go hot, but it is certainly heating up like a junkie spoon. I would imagine if I was a betting man, I'd say Putin's probably going to pull the trigger in the next week to 10 days, just based on the way everybody is jockeying and positioning their assets. I don't think he's going to stop, and I think everybody else knows he's not going to stop. So, okay, listen, I apologize for all the coughing. I'm going to probably go back in and try and edit some of that out so that other folks that are watching this not live don't have me coughing in their ear. So, listen, you guys, we'll be back on Wednesday. No Q&A today, but we will pick up back on the Q&A for the members, Monkey Nation members. And so we will see you guys on Wednesday. And you guys, again, keep your powder dry and stay frosty because things are about to heat up big time. So, all right, God bless. Monkey out.
Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworxus.com.